and I saw two images. And the first image that I saw was I see a hand holding a key, and it looks like one of those skeleton keys, like, you know, like the really old keys from a long time ago. It's very unique, and there's a gate, and it's opening, like I see the hand turning the key, putting the key into the keyhole on this gate, and then it opens up. And it's really dark on one side, but as soon as it opens up, there's like, it opens into this garden. It almost feels like, you know, the secret garden. There's a fountain, there's light streaming through, there are a lot of vines climbing up the trellises, and there are birds. So it's opening from a dark room, it opens into the light, and it opens into something very, very amazing and spectacular. And the message I was getting from that is things are not what they seem. You need to give things a chance. Okay, so whatever is coming at you and you're inclined to feel like, I don't think that's the right thing for me. I don't think that's the right person for me. I don't think that's the right job for me. I don't think that's the right house for me in particular. I don't think that's the right situation for me. And you're kind of nodding your head at it, mainly because it doesn't really fit your expectations. I feel like you're going to surprise yourself, or you're going to find yourself pleasantly surprised that there are good things about that situation, that it's almost like it's going to exceed your expectations, okay? By all means, if your intuition is telling you this is dangerous, I don't want to get involved in it, please don't do it. But what I mean is, if it's something that's, you know, not entirely ticking off all the marks in your checklist, and you're inclined to say no just because of fear, or just because you feel like it's going to be a certain way, and you feel like there's no harm in trying it, I would say go for it, okay? Because I feel like it's going to pleasantly surprise you, and it's really going to exceed your expectations. Now, with the imagery of the key, we always have the key always denotes like the answer, right? The answer to something. And what I feel is, you know, opening up a new path. It basically means unlocking some type of a potential within you, unlocking some type of a situation that you feel you've been very stuck at, and unlocking possibly a new phase in your life, or even that new chapter that you're supposed to embark on. And so the double meaning that I'm getting as well is, I feel like there's a part of your life that might have felt very stagnant. I feel like it's being freed up, it's being open. And I feel like you're either finding the solution to your problems, you're finding a solution to a specific thing, or you're finding some type of an answer that's going to bring you a lot of clarity, and it's going to bring you new energies to kind of like propel you, push you forward to the next phase of your life, okay? The second image that I saw was, I see this hot air balloon. It's a cartoon looking hot air balloon. So there's somebody that lights it up, like lights the torch, and then the hot air balloon just starts ascending. It rises, rises. So first you see houses, and then you see like electricity strings and poles, and then you see birds, and then you see like low-lying clouds, and then it goes into the stratosphere, and you see like really high-flying clouds, and then all of a sudden it stops. Okay, all of a sudden it stops, and it stops because there's like a rain cloud right above it. Okay, so it seems like the rain cloud is saturated with moisture. Something is stuck. It's keeping it in place, so it's not able to ascend anymore. And this situation, I feel almost like the mechanism in which the hot air balloon is able to rise is because the torch inside heats up the air so that it's lighter than the surrounding atmosphere, right? And then when it hits the rain clouds, that's when like the air inside is the same temperature almost as like the air outside. And so there's a situation here where I feel like losing steam, losing momentum, or a situation where somebody is like taking the wind out of your sails. Naysayers, that concept comes up. And then I almost feel like you're capable of so much more. You're capable of, really living to your true potential. And I feel like for many of you, there's this concept about being cognizant of people or situations or even self-limiting beliefs that have really held you back in the past. And you're possibly even confronted with it again because, we are heading into the weeks where you're re-encountering or encountering again a situation where it really took the winds out of your sails. It might have been like an obstacle. You felt like your life was going to go one way, and then that situation just plopped down right in front of you, and you had to make very, very, very swift changes at a very, very short amount of time in order to accommodate. And I feel like in a way, it's one of those sliding door moments that, no matter how old you are, you always think back to that pivotal moment in time. And you're just like, what if I had taken a different route? What if I had taken a different path? What if I had done things differently? I wonder what my life, the trajectory of my life would have looked like right now. And so you always think back at that moment where you were like kind of at the apex, or you felt like life could go no wrong, and then something like that kind of plops itself. I'm thinking like the glass ceiling where you feel like you couldn't ascend any longer. And then I also feel like, this is something is happening this month that might trigger a memory or a situation very similar to that incident, or something might be brought to light about that incident, and it's coming back again. A lot of the times, patterns repeat and cycles repeat, and especially old circumstances, old people come back into the picture so that we can do things differently, so that we can, learn from the past and make a different set of decisions related to that situation. Okay, so that's what I feel here. I was doing the Virgo reading, Moon, Rising, Venus even. I would recommend that you watch that, especially if you have a Virgo moon. And Virgo is your polar opposite, and that's why I'm bringing up the Virgo reading. The Virgo reading was a lot about developing to our full potential, being self-sufficient. And I feel like there's something here that brings you back to a moment in time where you felt like you were on course to developing to your full potential, okay? I feel for many of you, it could be, wanting to pursue higher education, bachelor's degree, master's degree, graduate degree, like a PhD, a law degree, a doctorate degree, something significant, very, very significant. And then something happened. Possibly for some of you guys, pregnancies, possibly being in a relationship where you had to cater to the partner. So, I felt like something kind of derailed your plans, okay? And then I also feel like it's like a missed opportunities. That's what it feels like. And then you always think back at that moment in time and you're longing for the good old days, or you are longing for that situation to the opportunity to present itself again, because you're like, I would do things so differently this time around. That's what it feels like to me. And then I'm also sensing as well, with the Virgo reading, the whole concept about we are all here because we are expected to develop to our full potential. And basically what that means is to be better and better and better versions of ourselves by learning from past mistakes, by learning from mistakes that other people make, by always striving and improving and aiming for excellence. So it's like, okay, I did this, it didn't work that time. I'm going to take notes so that next time I don't make the same mistakes, so that we can break ourselves out of cycles. So it comes to, that whole hot air balloon rising, okay? Rising to our maker, pretty much. Meeting our maker. Rising to our full potential. And continuing to rise despite whatever is happening in our environment, okay? It's like, yes, there are dark clouds. There are, there are rain clouds. And if we rise above it into the stratosphere, we're going to be able to be on top of all of that. And those drops of rain, the lightning, the thunder, the scary parts aren't going to touch us. So we need to keep rising. We need to, turn on that torch, keep going and keep progressing. Okay. So happy solar return. And I like this reading. I like the way that it is coming out, and I like the imagery presented. Okay. So first off, I feel like there are situations in your life here where I definitely see you're dealing with somebody who is a little bit of a talker, okay? Somebody that is promises a lot, promises like your wildest dreams. And I almost feel like there's a situation here where you put a lot of faith and a lot of stock in this person, okay? And then I also feel, and the person shows up here as the magician. This is from this deck. This is someone who's a player. Okay, from this deck. So this is someone with a glass of martini in his hands. He's got 4 arms, and he's got all the elements. So it's almost like someone who's a social chameleon, a life of the party. They can be everything to everybody. Okay. So I feel like there's a little bit of a player vibe here, but what I'm sensing overall is I feel like you've got somebody that is really charming, who is like, they're such a social chameleon, and they're such great orators that they convince other people. Like they're very good at persuasion. They're very good at arguments. They're very good at winning an argument. They're very good at painting you a really rosy picture. And what I feel is, for many of you in the past, you might have put a lot of stock in this person. You might have believed every word that they told you. You might have, put a lot of hopes and a lot of dreams and a lot of wishes in this person. And then I also feel like, in a way, they painted such a beautiful picture. It was full of promise. It was just full of magic that, as romantic and as highly romanticized as you are, you're inclined to believe them. Because I feel, in a way, it's almost like it was such a convincing argument. It was such a rosy image. It was just so full of magic and just like out of this world, that you bought the fantasy. And I don't blame you for it. And I feel over time, this situation led you to, really see the person in their true colors. Okay? That they might have been just a talker and not so much of a doer. Because when it comes to delivery, they're kind of like this. Okay? Page of Pentacles. Kind of like this. They gave like little pieces of scraps here and there, but they never brought 100% to the table. Everything that was promised, I feel like it was just all airs. It was all a front, and it was all just mediocre. It didn't live up to your expectations. It didn't live up to the reality of whatever it was that they verbally promised. And I also feel like they have a lot. Or I feel like they have a lot, or they might have hyped up the fact that they have a lot. But the bottom line is, I feel like they kept it to themselves. Okay? And so I see you have, moved yourself away from this situation. We have here the Death card. Okay, moving on. And whatever it was that they promised you, you realize at the end of the day that you had to be the one in charge of your own destiny, that you had to be the one to create things, that things weren't going to come through from another person. And I feel like you were in the process of learning to be self-sufficient, learning to take care of all of your needs and not having to rely on another person. So whatever this situation was, it revealed to you how potentially dependent you can be on another person. It also revealed to you that a lot of the times you could have been very naive and fallen into, the rosy picture because you wanted to believe. This person was full of magic. You wanted to believe in that magic. So it wasn't like they strung you along and led you down this path. I feel like it took two to tango, right? And so it's like, it's not the fault here you're realizing is I shouldn't have blamed that person, because I feel like you felt you contributed to being, blindly walked down this rosy garden path and realized at the end of the day that, you were left empty-handed. And I feel like this was a very karmic relationship because your energy changed, okay? You were this Queen of Cups, like hopelessly, madly, I feel like in a way, like idealistic. And then you transform. You became this Queen of Swords, where you became a lot more skeptical, where you became a lot more like, oh yeah, why don't you show me concrete evidence? And so there was a major transformation within you. Okay. And I feel like you were very upset with this person, but you never had a chance to voice your anger, voice your frustration. Because I feel like with a lot of Pisces, harsh words, you understand that harsh words cut really, really, really deep. And you're not a confrontational type of a person. And I feel like you're dealing with someone who's very amorphous. Like they're very good at manipulating. And so whatever you throw at them, they have a comeback. And it gets to the point where you question your reality. Did that really happen? Like, did I really say that in the past? Did he really say that in the past? They made you question your reality. And when you're dealing with this social chameleon, you can never tackle them head on because they're very slippery and very evasive. And so I feel like this situation was very karmic. It might have drowned out that sense of idealism within you, that hopeless romantic, that person that was very loving and caring and just unconditionally always, always, always giving to others. I feel like it made you a little bit harder and more and colder, but at the same time, it gave you this sense of discernment and perception, okay? And so you're at a point where you're definitely realizing as well, I can't wait on anybody to make my dreams a reality. I have to go out there, in the trenches, and by one by one, like by brick by brick, mortar by mortar, I have to, create my own foundation, create my own destiny, create that business, build it from the ground up. No one was going to come in there and be a partner with me or like be a financier. I have to physically do the work myself. And then I also feel to a certain extent, it's almost like I need to, that wake up call. I need to get going. I need to move things along. And so there's definitely a situation here where you are overcoming and transforming into a more proactive person, grabbing life by the horns, making things happen for yourself, coming into a situation with a strategy, okay? How am I going to get this off the ground? How much money do I need? How much resources am I able to afford? How much startup costs do I need? And, where am I going to store all my inventory? So I feel like you're coming up with some type of a major, major business plan for yourself because you're at a point where you want to be self-sufficient. And the best way for you to be self-sufficient you're realizing too is, self-employment. In a way, everybody knows that, but then we also are plagued with a lot of fears about starting businesses. What if it doesn't get off the ground? Should I quit my 9 to 5 job in order to, dump 100% of my attention and all of my resources, all of my savings, my pension, etc., into this business endeavor? Is it going to get off the ground? So I feel like there's a lot of fears here. You've always had really, really creative ideas to make money, but they were always kept as sidelines, side projects, little hobbies here and there. You never felt like you could manifest it and make it a reality. But what I'm seeing here with this card, it is about manifesting too, if we're looking at this as your energy. The magician, the manifester, the person with all the skills and the capabilities, all they needed was some type of a solid business plan. Not a business partner, not somebody, not a consultant, not somebody to come in and help you. They just needed to be a little bit more rational, to kind of like have a strategy, to put pen to paper and come up with a business proposal, a business plan, to sit there and crunch the numbers, to do the things that the Queen of Cups might not be very good at, because she's artsy, she's creative, she gets distracted too. She's like holding this bowl, but she's looking at the fish. So like, it's not something that this energy is comfortable with, but it's a very comfortable realm for this type of an energy. And you have already transformed into this type of an energy. All it takes for you is to come up with that concrete plan, start laying the foundation, pentacle by pentacle, and not limit yourself. Whatever didn't work out in the past, 10 of Swords, whatever situation didn't work out in the past, you can't let this be that rain cloud hovering over you and disallowing you from ascending and developing towards your full potential. And I feel like there's a sense here about, I can't do it alone. I'm just one person. It's all very, very scary, foreign territory to me. I don't really know how to do it. Being the nurturer is like my field of expertise, but now this is like cutthroat business world. How am I going to be able to manage? So I feel like you're really, really plagued with that self-doubt, that anxiety, that sense of like, oh no, last time I tried to do it, it didn't work out too well. So you're really, really overcoming this. And you're moving towards this self-employment, okay? This is the flying over, overcoming your financial worries, okay? Flying over financial problems. And especially when it comes to independence, this is one of the most independent person in the deck. It indicates somebody that is able to harvest all the things, their investments are the things that are generating them money. And as a result of it, they have a lot of leisure time. They can take vacation, they can take trips, and all of their pentacles are growing in the garden. So it's like, it's a state of financial independence. Okay. So many of you are at a point where you're finally able to jump into this situation because you're no longer letting your fears hold you back. Because you're learning from the past as well, and you're figuring out, and you're definitely a lot more strategic. I'm seeing that. I'm also sensing as well, there's a whole concept about learning, okay? The Page of Coins, Page of Pentacles, is sort of like the student, okay? If this were a person, they would kind of like be an undergrad student in like business, accounting, finance, something related to, managing money, managing assets, managing personnel, even human resources. So they would be like learning how to do accounting, how to create a spreadsheet, how to come up with a business proposal, how to start something from like small scale, like a cottage industry, and then growing it really, really, really big to the point where it becomes self-sufficient. It grows on its own and you don't need to take care of it. So how do I start small and then gradually expand to the point where I can outcompete all of my competitors? So the Five of Wands is greatly about competition, okay? So I feel like many of you are thinking about that, like outcompeting all of my competitors. Um, Even I'm hearing like high profit margins. Okay, how do I like reduce the cost so that I can make more? That's what it feels like to me. And then with the Five of Pentacles, you kind of need to talk to yourself. The Five of Pentacles is usually like the inner struggle. Okay, should I do this? Should I do that? On the one hand, if I did this, it's going to lead to this outcome. So in the end, you're kind of like pulled in different directions because you're telling yourself, something happened in the past. I don't really believe my capabilities. I was wrong with my assessment in the past. And you're letting that situation color the potential of what something could be now. So keep in mind that, the retrograde energy does bring about old people from our past, old situations, previous ways of doing, patterns, cycles. It's bringing all of these things to light so that we can realize, you know what, this is in the past and I need to lay it to rest. And that's why you have such big transformative cards that indicates letting go, death, transition. It can't be revived. We have to let it go. We can't resuscitate it anymore. And then we have to come into a better sense of our emotional state needs to be a lot more balanced. We need to draw back our energy and focus on us and focus on whatever it is that we're trying to nourish and grow. Whatever you're holding in the palms of your hands, this is the thing that your 100% focus needs to be devoted on, because that's what you're trying to grow. Not all the limiting fears, the other thoughts that are racing through your head. Am I good enough? Am I capable enough? And moving from that vantage point, going forward, you're going to have a lot of success. Okay? This is one of the best cards in the deck, and it denotes worldly success, getting recognition, being on center stage, and especially when it comes overall to like outshining your competitors, being chosen, getting a win, getting like a major win, getting recognition. And once again, that whole concept about the win in your sales, okay? Somebody like poked holes in your sales once upon a time. You've mended your sales. You've mended your sales. And now you're getting that second wind, okay? So I feel like there's going to be a lot of progression moving forward very, very quickly. And I feel like the opportunity is there, but you can't really sit on the sidelines for too long. You kind of have to be quick on the uptake, okay? This is kind of like ruminating, overthinking, overanalyzing an emotional situation. And the emotional situation, I feel like what it boils down to here is, I feel like some of you might be comfortable in a work environment and you're seriously thinking about self-employment. And you're not 100% sure if it's like, should I leave this job? I like my coworkers. I like the people that I work with. Should I leave the safety nest of that situation and jump into something? And especially if you've had some disappointments in the past, it's hard to overcome that and believe that you can succeed. But I feel like you have a lot of success coming into the picture. And then I also feel like, you're going through a very transformative phase where you're looking at situations very skeptically. You're looking at people very skeptically. So if somebody's coming back from your past, an ex potentially with this magician, this is someone who's a little bit slimy and manipulative. And I feel like he or she is very good at deflecting, okay, deflecting problems. They come waltzing in as if nothing has ever happened, as if they didn't do anything wrong, as if it's all in your head. And I feel like you're getting a little bit sassy with this person, okay? You're just going to be like, I want to hear what he or she has to say. I want to hear what ridiculous excuses they're coming up with. Because I feel like, before you might have bought the charade, you might have bought the story, but now you're turning into this Queen of Swords where you know how to make that comeback. You know what to dish out you're no longer naive. You're no longer blinded, I feel. Okay. So this is a really, really good, second half of the month. And I know that we had the beginning of the month, the reading was a little bit challenging. And so I feel like moving forward, you have everything at your disposal to make the situation a lot better, developing to your full potential, mending the sails, mending the holes in your sails so that you can propel yourself and accelerate yourself towards a lot more success, a lot more self-sufficiency, a lot more financial independence as well. And all of this is coming by through your own hard work and through your own sense of planning and logic and strategy. Okay? So I hope the reading is helpful for you guys. I'm really happy to see this, and you're trying to find somebody who could read for you. I highly recommend. I have a psychic that I've regularly consulted with within the past 2 years. Her name is Bridget. She's based out of California, and I've included her scheduling website in the description box below. All right, so if you're interested in booking a reading, I highly recommend her. So just give it a try, okay? I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful birthday time. Take care.